How y'all doing? It's your guy Khaiden here on another Wednesday, especially another beautiful Wednesday here in New Orleans. So as y'all know, this week's topic is regarding Trump's policy that he is in the midst of pursuing or is trying to pursue of excluding transgendered individuals from serving this wonderful country that we live in. And I don't know, I'm kind of torn in between really where to stand, but mostly, I've been thinking about this topic a lot, and I've been talking to a lot of people about it, and as well as watching different people's videos, and just really truly looking at the different opinions about it, especially from non-trans individuals as well as trans individuals. And I kind of from everybody, I'm kind of getting a mist of just a lot of different information, but definitely a better way that he could have went about doing something if he wanted to do this. And one of the things that kind of held me up was he announces himself on Twitter, and that is one of the things that I can't take any president who chooses to post information on their personal Twitter. I can't take somebody or that statement seriously. Just personally, it doesn't matter what it is. It could have been we closing all fast food restaurants via Twitter, and I still would have been like, okay, really? But then the seriousness of the matter kicked in, and that's where I was like, how can you exclude people who, one, they want to serve their country, in doing probably one of the most honorable jobs that we have in the United States, someone who's willing to leave their family, if they have a family, or even risk their own lives, whether they have a family or not, in order to, pursue the mission of this country. And then again, the irony of the situation, having the same country not supporting them and their mission as a United States citizen. That kind of, to me, is the biggest just ironic situation of the entire post and everybody responses. And like many people said, it's just very ironic how a country that proclaims to equal rights for everyone, for every citizen, as well as you are a law-abiding citizen. And to me, to have trans people who already in particular states have a hard enough time to medically transition, as well as just transition mentally, and then having those people wanting to serve our country on top of all the other stresses that come along with that, that can be a great burden out of the entire situation. That burden alone, I wouldn't say that necessarily the financial aspect is a burden, but as a transgender individual, I'm not in the military whatsoever, but I couldn't picture, this can be relative to me with a different situation, but just in general, to be a trans person and to want to serve a country that doesn't want to serve you back, fighting for somebody's rights who at the end of the day would literally, if you were on fire, turn around and walk the other direction. That is the biggest burden that we have in this country. The individuals who choose to uplift and then isolate certain individuals from their just rights in general, just civil rights that they as a American citizen should have, and that can go with race, cultures, anything, but just in particular I don't know. I can't take, and for me it's mostly, I cannot take him serious about posting something to Twitter. I just can't. People like reality TV show stars and people who who have serious jobs, but then again, their jobs revolve around being on social media as well in order to keep up their relevancy in whatever field they may be in. But for someone who holds probably one of the highest looked upon jobs in the United States, for them to be posting just a statement, just any type of statement that can affect an American citizen, especially when he definitely ran his campaign on trans Trump for LGBT and Q, when he held the pride flag. To me, that just it's just like a slap in the face from a guy who said that he was fighting for all Americans, and what's next? What about, and I tell people like this, he may be isolating one group, but what about your group that he may take away from you as well? Then will you be ready to fight for that civil liberty that you have? Or would you rather just trans individuals, say, well, shoot, it's 20 of y'all and y'all fighting this fight, y'all can go ahead and fight your own fight, when we as Americans stop having that ideology in our head, we can make our country a better place for all Americans, and just, I don't know, like, really truly, that's my outlook on it, because I truly can't, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes into that. He just can't post something and it be put into law. Like, you have to think logically. There is definitely military personnel who have to vote on this, and then there's things that have to go through the Senate, since this is a larger issue. This is not a state's issue, this is a larger issue. So there are a bunch of other things that have to come into play that, I feel as though some military personnel have already spoken on it, and they're more concerned with the financial aspects. But there are a lot of financial, just hearing from friends in the military, other financial inconsistencies that the military have with spending in general, and anyone can tell you that it's just not a trans issue when it comes down to spending. And for him to announce it as a spending issue regarding transgender surgeries, we are talking about people who get up in the morning and their job is to fight for people in this country. That's their job. That's what they do. I feel like, so any veterans, like even homeless veterans, when you serve your country to the highest of your ability, I can't see how a country can neglect you in any way. They weren't neglecting you when you were fighting their wars or putting them on a map. I just truly cannot see how a job like that can say, look, we're not going to cover the things that you need, the things that make you a better American in order to fight for our liberties and justice and things like that. So I don't know. I'm very torn in between the two. I'm leaning more towards the pro trans laws, just because it's being trans yourself, the things that you have to fight for. And then being in the military, and one of my friends was like, it was more of not the spending but the time that you have to take out for these surgeries. And I was like, to me, it still doesn't matter. If you messed up your knee, you can't go to work. That's something that you can't go to work for. Were you gonna sit around? You probably have to wake up with everybody. I don't know the exact procedures with that, but definitely, wouldn't you have to wake up in the morning with all of your platoon and make sure that you're out there with them to support your fellow shipmates, or army men or army women, or you're just your platoon in general? So I truly don't know. I don't know. I think I kind of have it made to where I want to know why, just from him personally, why target the transgender people with spending costs in the military. That's something that I want to know, when I've heard from military personnel themselves that the military in general has a huge spending spending inconsistency. So that's probably one of the questions that I have. And if anybody who's in the military would like to speak out and, you know, add to that, I definitely would like to hear y'all opinions, especially trans people in the military. But it's your guy, Khaiden, and I'm out.